YouTubers, this is Nurse J at Nursing the Truth, and I hope everyone's having a great day today. Well, I've got a great show for you today on Nursing the Truth. Me and my buddy Thoth here, we always love exposing the truth. And just to give you a little background on Thoth, he is the god of wisdom and knowledge. He is the god of the moon, the god of architecture, magic, the crafts. He's the go-to guy that I always go to. So, anyway, we're going to reveal a little bit of truth for you. Let's all raise our hands and just say, were we all taught that Adam and Eve were the first man and woman to have ever walked this earth? Well, hate to disappoint you today, but the truth is, this Adam and Eve were not the first man and woman to have ever walked this earth, and I'm going to prove it to you today. So let's go ahead and open our Bible. I have the King James Version because everybody says that's the best version, so we're going to go with that. Now let's go to Genesis 1:1. And it says, "In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth." Well, let's just go ahead and go to BibleHub.com, okay, and put in Genesis 1:1, and where it says God as a monotheistic God, G-O-D, that is the word Elohim, E-L-O-H-I-M, and when you go and to see what that word means, it means gods, plural, and goddesses, or divine rulers, or divine judges. So, right there, okay, in the Hebrew language of the lexicon, okay, it's not a singular. Okay, this is a plural. Not one God, one. It's plural. So, first of all, why do we have in the Hebrew lexicon or text, when you go to BibleHub.com, and the word Elohim is plural, but then the book that they gave us, it's one. Monotheistic, one talker. So that's a problem. Okay, moving along. Verse 2. "And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of Elohim moved upon the face of the waters." Okay, so there again, let's go to BibleHub.com, and let's see what these two words mean: without form and void. Well, as you see here, I had that up on my phone. I know that you probably can't see it because of the light, but anyway, I'm just trying to show you that I am on BibleHub.com. So you put in the verses, Genesis 1:2. Now, the word form, without form, is called tohu, T-O-H-U, and the number is 8414. So you're going to hit the 8414, and without form means waste. Okay, so you're like, okay, let's see. So without form in the Hebrew word means waste. That's a short definition. Confusion, unreality, emptiness, formlessness, waste. So you go down there, it's chaos, formlessness of primeval earth, of land reduced to primeval chaos. Okay, city of chaos or of ruined city. Okay, now you're going to go to void. Okay, so what does the word void mean? I have to go back to BibleHub.com. Okay, I hit out of it by accident. Okay, so we're going to go back to, so basically you see without form is going to be waste, desolation, chaos. Okay, now we're going to go to void. So void is called bohu, B-O-H-U, and the number is 922. So let's hit 922. 922 means void. Okay, emptiness. Basically the same thing. The line of wasteness and the stones of emptiness, meaning to undistinguishable ruin. So something had happened. So we're going to go. So in the beginning, the Elohim created the heaven and the earth. Plural. Verse 2, and the earth was out without form and void. Okay, so they're thinking, so when you read this, you're going, oh, without form and void. So God created the heaven and earth, and it was void yet because he hadn't put anything in there. Nothing was going on. But then when you go with the words, it's waste, desolation, ruins of a city, chaos, stones down, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, let's go to Isaiah 45:18. Okay? And this is what it says. Isaiah 45:18. And read along with me if you have your King James. 45:18. Now, and it says in 45:18, verily thou art a Elohim. Okay, because remember, God in the Hebrew word means Elohim, so I'm just going to read the Elohim. Verily thou art a Elohim, plural, that hidest thyself, O God of Israel, the Savior. Oh, I'm sorry, that was 18, I'm sorry. For thus saith the Lord that created the heavens, Elohim himself that formed the earth and made it. He hath established it. He created it not in vain. He formed it to be inhabited. I am the Lord, and there is none else. So, let's read that again. Elohim himself that formed the earth and made it, he had established it. He created it not in vain. He formed it to be inhabited. I am the Lord, and there is none else. So, if we go to 1:1 and 1:2 of Genesis, and it says that had been laid waste, it was chaos. It was destroyed. But Isaiah said in this particular verse that he created it not in vain. And he built it or formed it to be inhabited. So this Elohim, these gods and goddesses, created it to be inhabited. But in 1:1, it was destroyed and waste. Now let's go to Jeremiah 4:25. All right. Jeremiah 4:25, and it says, this is what he says, whoever this guy is or whoever wrote this. I behold, and lo, there was no man, and all the birds of the heavens were fled. I beheld, and lo, the fruitful place was a wilderness, and all the cities thereof were broken down at the presence of the Lord and by his fierce anger. But if we go back up to verse 23, well, let's start from there, too. Jeremiah says, I beheld the earth, and lo, it was without form and void. Okay, now he just said what was in Genesis 1:1 and 1:2. Remember, guys? Let's catch this. I beheld the earth, and lo, it was without form and void, and the heavens, and they had no light. I beheld the mountains, and lo, they trembled, and all the hills moved lightly. I beheld, and lo, there was no man, and all the birds of the heavens were gone. And I beheld, and lo, the fruitful place was a wilderness, and all the cities thereof were broken down at the presence of the Lord and by his fierce anger. Okay. I hope you see where I'm going with this. So we have Isaiah and Jeremiah, which, in retrospect, Jeremiah was kind of like in the 600 BCE, Isaiah in the 730 BCE era. Okay, whoever these people were, if they were real or not, or if people were just writing anonymously. We don't know. We weren't there. We don't know. But I do believe that there were ancient texts, such as the Chaldean origins of Genesis. I do believe that there was the Colburn texts, which the Egyptians had written a bunch of documents, possibly about the cataclysms of the earth and their cycles. Like the earth has been destroyed, replenished, destroyed, replenished several times. Even in Jeremiah, it talks about the destroyer. Job, it talks about the destroyer. How the earth has been, decimated. Even in the ancient text, people have written about this, whether it be Nibiru, whether it be an asteroid. If you read the Colburn Bible online, which they did come out with a book, I believe by Marshall Matthews or something like that, all of this stuff has been compiled, and it does talk about when man sees these things, he is not going to believe it. And all of his, religious and spirituality is going to be thrown out the window. What you're seeing, what you will see is going to be so unbelievable that it has no words to describe it. So I suggest you read that. So I do believe whoever was writing these things, when they compiled this Bible, there were so many Greek texts, Sumerian texts, Babylonian, Assyrian, Chaldean works that they just compiled this whole thing. Mythology, truth, non-truth. You just have to decipher it, and you have to really go through it. You really have to dig and scratch and read, to really find what is truth and what isn't. Okay? So I do believe that the ancient Egyptians had the knowledge, and the Sumerians had the knowledge of what was really going to happen to our earth. Now, moving on. So, in the beginning, this Elohim created, okay? And in Jeremiah and Isaiah, it says that the Elohim created it to be inhabited, and it wasn't made in vain, and that there was going to be humans and things on the earth. But then Jeremiah said he looked and he saw the fierce anger of the Lord that destroyed the cities, and the birds were gone, and there was no life. So if Genesis was before Isaiah and Jeremiah and was supposed to have been the first words of God given to Moses, okay, which we'll make another video on that, then how was that? If Jeremiah is talking about there were people on the earth, okay, and the Lord destroyed it, then why is it in Genesis that they made it and they laid waste to it? That, I mean, the whole thing doesn't make sense. But what's fixing to get you is in this verse. All right, let's go to Genesis 1:26. And the Elohim said, remember this is plural, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over the earth, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So Elohim created man in his own image. In the image of Elohim created he him. Male and female created he them. And the Elohim blessed them, and Elohim said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish, the fowl of the air, and every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And the Elohim said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, to you it shall be for meat. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. And the Elohim saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening of the morning were the sixth day. Okay. So you have these Elohim that made man in their image and their likeness, and they made male and female. Okay? Doesn't say take a rib out of Adam to make Eve. This is what you call genetic manipulation. This is what you call genetics. And they told them, after they made them, this wasn't an infancy deal. They made them straight as adults, male and female. To be fruitful and multiply and replenish. Now let's think about this. If God made the earth in 1:1 and 1:2, okay, and they were people there in the beginning when God created, why then is he saying to replenish? So there had to have been a destruction on the earth that wiped out mankind. So Adam and Eve were not the first people. This is a second run of the mill. Because remember, in Isaiah and Jeremiah, they said the earth was without form and void. And Jeremiah says that he looked and he saw, and behold, there was cities and there was birds that had left, and there was life. And the anger of the Lord destroyed it. Now, who was the Lord? Is it an entity that fought other people, other gods, other extraterrestrials? We don't know. Or was it the destroyer Nibiru, an asteroid that decimated this mankind? So now the Elohim makes man in their own image, their likeness. This is a second repopulation, because it says to replenish. R-E means to redo over. Replenish the earth and subdue it. But the pastors are going to tell you, amen, brother, that Adam and Eve were the first people on earth. And because Eve ate from the apple and didn't listen to God, everyone was cursed. So you're going to tell me that that's what's going on. How can that be? If the fierce anger of the Lord destroyed the earth, then why is he making it over again and is going to tell to replenish it? Then that can't be the first person. People better wake the hell up and get out of these damn churches. Think for yourself and start looking at the scriptures. And start going back to the ancient language, because what you have here is the people want to give you this bullshit and they don't want you thinking for yourselves. Adam and Eve were not the first people. So that destroys all this bullshit of God's chosen people. Okay? Now, moving on. And I get really ticked off about this stuff when people don't want to learn. Now, this is another thing that's going to interest you guys. So let's go to 29. And the Elohim, now mating their image and their likeness, male and female, they said to replenish, subdue it, and have the earth and do good for it, take care of it. And they said, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. They just said that we could have every herb on the face of the earth and every tree which is in the face of the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, and it shall be for meat. We're not supposed to be killing animals. We're not supposed to be eating flesh. We're not supposed to, we're supposed to be herb, seed eating people. Now, if you're going to go and live by this text, it clearly says that they have given us every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, it shall be for meat. Oh. So, but in chapter 2, you can't eat from this tree. But the Elohim said we can eat from every tree. Every tree? Wake the hell up, people. And to every beast of the earth and to every fowl we should have dominion over it. And it says again in 30, I have given every green herb for meat, and it was so. Well, guys, we clearly have a contradiction. And hopefully tomorrow I will then go to chapter 2 of Genesis, and we will see the contradictions. So I concur to read more about what Elohim is, where these Elohim came from, who are they. Clearly, the earth has been destroyed previously. And this is even before the deluge. This earth has been destroyed by fire, by water, and this is a cycle. This is what you call the cycle every maybe 26,000 years, every 10,000 years. And they're codes. And if you're going to believe Hosea, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. And that's what I'm doing. I'm searching for truth. What can we do to get out of this cycle, this matrix? How do we get out of here? Okay? So Elohim is more than one. It's not a monotheistic God. They made us in the image of their likeness, male and female. He created he, them. So I'm also thinking too, were we male and female? Or was it two separates? But I'm assuming two separates because replenishing, multiplying. So now the earth is destroyed. Jeremiah did see people on it and did see cities. He had a vision. Okay. And it was destroyed. And the Elohim came and said, hey, replenish the earth, and I'm going to give you every herb bearing seed, and you can eat from every tree with this herb and seed on it. And the Elohim said, oh, what they made was good. But the fierce anger of the Lord, whoever this Lord is, didn't like what the Elohim did, and he destroyed it. So there again, guys, please read for me tonight Genesis chapter 1 in entirety. Go to BibleHub.com, and if there's a word that you're suspicious about, go to the Hebrew word and hit on the number, and it'll tell you exactly what that word means. So there again, me and Thoth say, when you search for the truth and you find the truth, then let the truth set you free. A great Egyptian proverb, by the way. And me and Thoth say, Hotep and Ashe, and we will see you later on, guys. Have a great day. Like, subscribe, and tell your friends about this channel, because we will reveal the truth, and all things will be revealed in the end. Have a great day, guys.